I finally have been through this test enough times that I finally think I glorified God.
It took 51 years.
Yes, it took 51 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, dogs, and please pull up a chair and sit on your knees, for we have a story to tell you that we are still learning about. Welcome to Talk the Walk. My name is Henry Moses.
I'm Jared Moreland.
And I'm Gabe Moses. And we are super happy to be here, and thank you all for joining us wherever you may be.
Where are you? No matter where you're at, there you are.
No,
There you are. There you are.
No matter where you're at, there you are.
So everybody has arrived.
That's right.
Boom.
Except for Jenny. Jenny hasn't arrived.
No matter where she's at, there she is.
Yeah, and it ain't here.
That's right.
So she hasn't arrived here.
She arrived where she's supposed to be.
No Jenny today.
No question.
She'll be back next week.
Man, we can just be guys.
That's true. Gentlemen,
Say whatever we want.
keep your bodily functions under control.
Use the mute button.
That's right. On that note, let's kick this thing off.
That just got me thinking about all the conversations I've had with my sons of what's allowed to be around females and what's not allowed to be
100%.
around.
That's right.
100%.
Yeah.
So I had a thought. I'm kind of making some changes in my life. I've had some conversations with you fellas about it, and I got to thinking about it. Now, it can be a little overwhelming when you're trying to make some big changes in your life. Mm-hmm. And when you're 50 and I just turned 50 and thinking, dang, man, I may have 20, 30 years left. It's not a whole lot of time. It's crazy, and I want to make these changes. I want to do these, achieve these different achievements.
Whatever.
And,
yeah.
And so I got to thinking about it though. And I thought, you know what though? I bet if Donald Trump or whoever, if you're not a fan of Trump, then pick some rich person that you
Yeah, it's not a political comment.
Right.
At all.
No.
But for me, I thought, I bet if
guy.
Donald Trump could swap places, could give up every dime he has, every property he owns to trade places and have the same knowledge base that I have, and me be his age, him take my age, and him be starting out from the same situation I'm in right now, he'd be in.
Oh, yeah.
He would swap all that out to be able to go back to 50 and proceed from there with the same circumstances that I have right now. Still being himself, whatever. But point being, I thought, man, it just changed my perspective on, I'm at a place that a lot of people would give their left arm to be able to be at.
Well, it's like that song. If I could turn back time.
Yeah.
Da-na-na-na.
If I could find a way. I think that's it.
If I could be like Henry. Oh, I'd say no way.
Well done.
El Paso. El Paso.
Slow clap. Actually, hold on.
Where's the clappy thing? 3? Nope. Nope. That. Yeah. Well done, Jared.
Well done, Jared. Yeah, but I mean, it was kind of a cool thought. It just shifted. It was a shift in perspective for me, and kind of made my day a whole lot more exciting. So I think about that. I think yesterday was when I got to thinking about that. And since then, I'm just like, cool. All I have control over is whatever God's got in front of me at the moment, whatever vision God's put in front of me.
Right.
And I want to have the best perspective that I can moving forward.
It's funny. I'm sitting around talking about this. I'm thinking about, like, what if I was able to go back to age 20, and say something to myself. And I'm like, I'd definitely tell myself, be a little more disciplined, dude.
Yeah.
You start to practice things that people said mattered, Be a little more disciplined. Stop being so loosey about everything, you know. But then I think about it, I was like, yeah, but some guy who was supremely disciplined would go back and tell himself, dude, take life a little easier. You know,
good point. Yeah.
You don't have to be so focused on every little thing. Well, it's your personal walk.
And it's crazy how we get to these ages. And I think I've done it my whole life, where you get to different age markers and you think, and you focus on what you haven't done, what you haven't achieved, or how poorly you've set yourself up for
the future.
Yeah. For the remaining time that you have left. You think about all that stuff, and that's
maybe
so.
I don't know, man. I don't know how poorly. There's some, I used to, my first house, I remember thinking some people, this would be what they would dream for their retirement home. This would be their final home. Mm-hmm. My first house, it was a $130,000 house.
Yep.
Nothing flashy. It was almost 100 years old, but it was beautiful to me.
Yep.
I loved that house. And I remember when I bought it, I thought, you know, there's some people in the world that would say, man, that's where I would retire.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, this is all perspective. Wherever I live, if I live anywhere, even if I don't own my house, if I'm renting, I'm like, well, somebody would dream of this life. I saw this horrible video the other day of this guy that had bumps all over his face. And I mean, so many bumps, you couldn't tell how his face was.
Well, we knew somebody like that when we were kids.
Did. Yeah. We did. It's a true story. And there were so many people's comments were, Lord, please be with him. Please bless, help him. And I just do, those moments you do go, ooh, man, I feel pretty good. I'm feeling all right. I don't have to deal with that. But somebody else would probably look at my life and go, I don't know about that life.
I think, so I got a question. So I think the example of the rich man to where you're at, Hank, or even me, and I'm thinking, man, I wouldn't want to fast forward and swap places with a 78-year-old man because I am 51, and I'm like, man, if you do live to be 80, that's 29 more years. There was a point that I thought I'd never get to 50 because of how slow time went. And then it's like, now I'm at 50. I'm like, my gosh, that was fast. And then thinking of how fast that is. And then I'm like, oh man, 80 is going to be here fast. Like life and like your body, your mental capacity, everything's going to change drastically in that time. But my question is, if I'm the 78-year-old guy, yep, I wouldn't mind going back to 51. But at 51, I don't know that I want to go back to, I don't want to swap with a 20-year-old. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go that far back.
Too far.
Well, it depends on the 20-year-old. I mean, my 20-year-old, Creighton, our nephew, smart, still has things to learn for sure, but man, he's way ahead of where I was at 20. There are some 20-year-olds that they got it going on.
Yeah.
But the ultimate point is appreciate where you are right now, right?
I think appreciate the time that you have left.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever that is.
You could have 51 more years, dude.
And that's true too.
You could have 50 more.
Or I could have 10, but just
or 10 minutes.
Be so appreciative if you can embrace the idea that, man, there are people that would give anything to be in your spot, not knowing if you're going to be killed by a train or plow into a tree or have come up with cancer tomorrow. There are people that would say, I would give every dime I've got to be in the position you're in.
Mm-hmm. I would say though, I wouldn't thinking it fit where I'm at today. I will say there are things I wish I had done different, but I definitely don't want to do over. I'm thankful for what I've been through to get to where I'm at today.
That's cool.
I wouldn't
I have to think about it. I don't know if I'd say that.
I wouldn't be who I am today had I not went through those things.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'd be different. Probably I could. It's not that I wouldn't be successful or wouldn't have an impact or whatever, but it might look different. I mean, I'm thankful for the many, many marriages Angel and I have been able to help heal and restore and avoid divorce because we almost divorced. Man, it stinks that we went through that season, but we wouldn't have the reach we have today had we not went through that.
And I think that's the essence of it all is, did you do anything worthwhile?
Yeah, hey, you've gotten through it. Now, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with
use that at all?
Go help someone.
You helped anybody or didn't? Yeah.
It's like the story of the guy that jumped off the San Francisco Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, and he survived. And the minute his feet left the edge, his first thought was regret. I wished I hadn't done that. So he hits the water, he gets pulled out, and he's made it his mission to talk to as many people as he can to prevent that.
Yeah.
So he got spared. He got saved.
Jeez.
What are you going to do about it? And he's doing something about it.
That's it. I mean, I have the aches and the pains. I have the regrets, all that kind of stuff. But having an understanding and a vision of the good that I can do, the way that I can bless people and love people, the ability to get closer to God, not being focused on. It's so easy to focus on, well, I done messed up this bad here, so I'm not able to be used in this way. And now I already gave up this much time of my life, and I have all these aches and pains, so I'm not able to do this and that. And just have all these excuses that you can see as reasons, but really they're more excuses than they are reasons. And they stop you from living an abundant life. And I'm not talking about your best life now, all that kind of stuff. Although I will say you can have your best life to date at an older age, having made all these mistakes. You can make the changes and we've talked about it before on here. The better you get at serving people, the better you get at understanding people and sitting with people and doing service together with people locked arm in arm, the more fulfilled you become. Mm-hmm. The more I mean, if I only have a year left, you know how much you can do in a year? There's a lot that can happen in a year, good or bad.
Absolutely.
You can make but it starts with just making those small, being determined. I'm going to make these small little changes as I go, and I'm going to embrace whatever the time I have left. I mean, in my mind, I've got at least 30 years left. And you could do a lot with that.
Absolutely.
You could do a lot with that.
Can I give you a little praise report about something?
Sure, I'll take it. I get enough of the other. I'll take the praise.
So we talked a few weeks ago about going to Rio Doso for your birthday, Hank, and it was a great time. And Angel and I had not done a vision retreat in a long time, and we did that. And there was so many things we prayed about and asked the Lord. And it has been awesome ever since, because I talked about, we were so busy. The year was so heavy. Angel and I have had so many weekends and evenings of just time to spend together and be productive at home and things like that. Mm-hmm. Another situation we're praying about with our son. We've been praying for years about that, and he reaches out to his mom and says, "Hey, have you ever heard about this guy?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "He's this pastor that has a podcast. He used to be a gang guy, was a drug dealer, was in prison. Now he just preaches the gospel." David didn't tell us this. We research it, but he's like, he leads a devotional every morning on Instagram Live, and I've been participating in the devotion, and I just like the way the guy speaks. And I'm like, man, that's awesome.
How'd they stumble across him again?
Just on social media.
That's crazy. Yeah, that dude's a beast.
Yeah.
What dude?
What's his name?
Jeremy Chang or Chang? It's not Chan. Chang.
Is it Chang? Dude, he's cool looking Asian guy. Mm-hmm. He's got neck tattoos. Like, he looks like straight out of a Jackie Chan movie or something. Cool dude.
Yeah.
Johnny Chang.
Chang.
Yeah. He even sounds like it. And the dude is solid apologist. He gets up and preaches and takes questions and responds to him and with confidence. I mean, the dude's
not joking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's really young, but for what it's just praise God, that my son has found a connection.
Yeah.
And, but I think it just ties into us talking about small habits, small things. Me and Angel got back to the discipline of having a vision retreat and coming in agreement and praying over things together. And we're already seeing, the fruits of that. And it's pretty awesome.
That was fast.
That's Johnny Chang right there.
Oh, I have seen him.
Yeah.
I've seen that guy on some podcasts.
He's starting to kind of pop up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just cool. And he's, you know what? That's a good point. That's speaking to the idea of time. It's crazy how much people can learn and do in 1 year.
Yeah.
I mean, you see kids at 8 years old jamming out on the guitar or, well, they've only been alive for 8 years. If they started straight out of the womb, they've only been playing for 8 years.
Yeah.
And playing real good because they just put the time, devotion into it or whatever.
Consistency.
Look at this guy. He goes to prison. I don't know his full story.
I don't either.
But comes out an apologist, for the Lord and battling for the Lord. You can make that turn.
I almost just started deep diving in the guy trying to find something wrong. And I felt like the Lord just sweetly spoke to my spirit. Just like what is like your conscience telling you, like, can you just leave it alone and let me, God speaking to me, can you just leave it alone and let me deal with this? And I'm just like, okay, God.
All right.
You asked, and I'm delivering, and you now want to go try. And if I try hard enough, I'll find something I don't
wrong
like.
with the guy. Yeah. Guaranteed. Is it because you wanted the glory?
Maybe. No, that's not it.
Helping your son?
At the end of the day, I'm sure I can find something about the guy that he speaks on that I don't like, but he's pointing people to Jesus. That's the most important thing. And if he's pointing people to Jesus, and that's all I want is my son to be following, pointed towards Jesus, like, okay, golly, I'm an idiot sometimes when it comes to stuff like that.
You're like, that's my son. You don't preach to him.
No, I've come to the resolve that it's going to be someone else. Like a lot of kids they get to a point they're not hearing their mom and dad no more. I've been listening to you for years.
Well, Jesus himself, and who's in this guy from Jerusalem? Joseph, his father, was a carpenter. Yeah. I mean, even from their own city. The Bible says what? A prophet is not welcome in his own city.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, so yeah, that is kind of the way it goes.
Yeah.
Sadie didn't listen to me a whole lot. She gets with this dude.
The only thing I hope I get right is if it does go the way it looks like it's going, that I don't get into this. I told you, if you'd have just been following Jesus all this time, like Jared, don't do that.
No, you ain't gonna do that.
I won't, but I hope not. Like,
you ain't gonna.
Don't be the I told you so guy.
Yeah. You're not gonna do that. All right, fellas. So I've been thinking about sin lately. Sin. What is it? What's it look like? And
are we transitioning?
We're transitioning. I got to thinking about the fact that we're created to glorify God. That is and y'all feel free to disagree if you can think of something else, but that every scripture that I read says that is our sole purpose, is to glorify God. We do that in different ways, but ultimately we're created to give glory to God, to glorify God in his name. And anytime that we don't do that, that's sin. When we're doing stuff that does not glorify God, and we can, having fun, playing games, doing stuff like that, that glorifies God. So I'm not saying we got to be home. Someone said, I'm not saying that. But I am saying when we operate outside of an action that glorifies God, we're committing sin. So I've kind of been wrestling with that, what that looks like, and wanted to hear your thoughts. Wanted to hear, do you agree, disagree? Do you think we're created to do anything else, or is it as simple as that we're created to glorify God? Gabe, what do you think?
I always thought we were created for relationship.
Okay.
That was always the sole purpose. I thought God made us for relationship with him, so we could have communion and by our free will instead of the way that angels did. You know, he had, of course, troops of angels, and he wanted by our free will for us to choose to have a relationship with him. So that's what I always thought it was. I didn't know. I mean, I know we are. That is absolutely a part of our makeup, is to glorify him, and then sin came along and screwed it up, and that then we chose to do some other things instead rather than that. But yeah, I always thought it was relationship.
Yeah, that's what I thought for the longest time too. I would say
until you became enlightened.
Until I just read more of the scripture and started trying to find any scriptures that I could that talked about that, and thinking about is God not fulfilled then if he doesn't have a relationship with us? And I think that's pretty no.
Yeah.
And so I would definitely not say that. And so, but I would say part of glorifying God is the relationship with him. Like we glorify God through our relationship with him and fellowship with him. And so,
why we were created and our purpose is two different things, because when you send out the topic, it's like, what is our sole purpose? But I think why we were created was for to have a relationship with God. First, Colossians 1:16 says, all things were created by him and for him. So they were created by him and for him. So we were created for him, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Our purpose, though, you'll find other scripture about, doing good works and things like that to glorify him. So our purpose is to glorify God, but we were created to have a relationship with him.
So Isaiah 43:7 says, everyone who is called by my name, whom I created for my glory. And so I would say, yes, we were created for him, for his glory, to glorify him. And that we do that in relationship with him. And glorifying him encompasses is very, it's one word, but it encompasses every aspect of our life, including relationship. Because do you think that God is not fulfilled?
Not at all.
Unless
He doesn't need us.
Right. He doesn't need us.
He doesn't need us. But I think it gives him pleasure to have a relationship with us.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
And so even that scripture still to give him glory, but still, why did he create us? For him, first and foremost, was to give him pleasure. But we need to glorify him. That's the only thing that's going to please him is to glorify him. But he doesn't need us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that. So the whole idea of glorifying God, like, what do y'all envision?
So we're not equal to God? Is that what you're saying? He didn't create us to be his peers or nothing like that? Because some people talk about, I'm a friend of God.
Yeah, but are we?
He can call us friend, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
There's a certain level of feeling like we're getting away from revering God.
And I used to do that. I thought me and Jesus or me and God were kind of homeboys, like.
See, now that phrase right there just. Oof.
I went through a season that I was like, hey man, I get to sit,
at the table,
at the banqueting table with God, but I'm not the head of the table.
But who's at the head?
Yeah. So anyway,
homeboys.
So then, how do we give glory to God?
So listen to this. So Hebrews says,
the coffee book. The
coffee book. Let's see. He says, for he who sanctifies, Hebrews 2:11 and 12, for he who sanctifies and those who are sanctified all have one source. That is why he is not ashamed to call them brothers. Talking about Jesus calling us brothers.
Yeah.
So that even in itself for me is hard. Like but you're my king. I don't even like the idea of, and it's not.
I like it if it says it.
That's right. Yeah. No, I know, but I struggle with it because
like it.
that's right.
As long as you know your place. I mean,
Yeah.
I do.
My little brother knows his place, so that's a good point. Yeah.
That's dirty.
Oof.
No, that's funny though. But no,
Don't flinch, Gabe.
I'm just sitting
but
here.
let me ask y'all this: what does glorifying God look like to you guys? Because whenever I think of glorifying God, and y'all may see it a little bit differently, but I almost see it as a weight, like I gotta stay holy all the time, and I gotta, to me, I think that's the way a lot of people say, okay, I gotta be focused on glorifying God. I gotta.
Well, so you're still not defining what you think it is. I'm very curious now if that's the way you're.
I could give a personal story how I feel. Man, I was so proud of
Go back to that.
No, it's about to glorify God. I felt like I had a great opportunity. I think I passed the test finally. It was a week ago or 2 weeks ago when we did the big burger cook. Anyway, snowy day at church. And I had an opportunity to really glorify God, but I didn't want to. So there's a lot of cool landscaping around our church, and there's sidewalks and there's pavers. And I had a load of stuff, and I wanted to get as close to the door as I could with my truck. And deep down, I knew I wasn't supposed to be driving in this area because they have intentional things to block you from getting. So I'm going to back down this sidewalk. And there's a guy on a little skid loader doing snow. Y'all heard my story of throwing tea through the window, having meltdowns on people.
The garage.
This was the ultimate test right here. So I'm backing down the sidewalk, and I look up. I'm about to where I need to be. I look up, and there's this guy coming out of the front of this little Bobcat skid loader, waving his hands, flailing his hands.
Flailing?
Yes. And he is screaming at the top of his lungs, and I get out. What do you think you're doing?
You yelled at him like that?
No, he's yelling at me.
You got out and he yelled at you like that. Okay.
He's undressing me.
Yeah.
And he just keeps going on.
He was mad.
Oh, because he's part of the crew that's in charge of facilities. And in a moment, I'm thinking, oh, no, we're not about to do this.
At this moment,
we're about to throw down, dude. And he's just ripping me. Do you not see? And I said, he said, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm trying to unload stuff for our men's night tonight. But why are you driving there? And he's just screaming. And I said, well, I mean, I know I couldn't drive over there, but no, you can't drive here. Those are pavers. And he's just,
you're trying to find your way out of this.
He's instructing me, and he's right, but he's yelling, and he doesn't need to be talking to me like this. And I'm boiling over. And then especially when I said, well, okay, I'll move. I said, I didn't know. He said, any idiot could see that you don't back down pavers. And I said, sir. I said, now I am a grown man, and I don't feel it's necessary for you to talk to me this way. I haven't talked to you this way, and I just don't know that you have to yell. And I'm being super kind and respectful.
And he's a groundsman at your church.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I'll give him a lot of grace here in a minute. So I just told him he really didn't appreciate me even in my calm mode. And he's like, whatever, have a good day. I said, yes, sir. And
he said, whatever, have a good day.
Inside,
he's just wanting to be able to say he did something churchy, so he tells you to have a good day.
No, he totally, he was in the way he acted. But he's human. He is human. Even if you work for a church and you're in the grounds crew now.
People in my church don't act like that.
Of
That's
course,
all I know.
Of course, especially when you cut them off on the way to church.
That's right.
But anyway, so I go about my business. I'm stewing, and I'm like battling, like, should I snitch this guy off? Because, I mean, I am a pastor, and I can really have his hide, and I'm battling with that. And I just start praying for the guy. I was like, Lord, I just pray you just bless him and meet him, whatever's going on. I don't know what's going on in his life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm unloading my stuff and getting my last load, and I hear him coming. Whoa, 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 here comes the deal. And he stops, and he gets out and he says, hey. I said, yes, sir. He said, man, I'm sorry. And he starts crying. I'm sorry. I should not have acted that way.
Did you say I'm still telling?
No.
Okay.
I said, man, I shouldn't have backed down that. I know, but I could have handled that better. I'm sorry. He said, man.
He's like, I'm getting fired.
No. And he said, man.
I think that guy's a pastor. I better go apologize.
Maybe. I don't know what the motive, I don't know what his motive was to apologize. But he had been out there all day Sunday.
Well, the Lord convicts.
Late into the night Sunday. He had been there at 5:30 in the morning. They're trying to prep the grounds for all the snow. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's probably just a little worn out and a little tired and a little grumpy. Yep. And
you never know how many people had driven in the wrong area.
Yes. And he talked about how much pride he had in the campus. And I said, man, I've gone here for 35 years and I'm so proud of our campus. And I've always appreciated the excellence. And man, he shook my hand, said he was sorry again. I said, man, I just hope you can get done in time to come eat a burger with us tonight. I said, it's all good, brother. Mm-hmm. And I hope nobody from our church hears this because
what's his name?
I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
But I don't know his name, but I don't want him to get in trouble because we handled it like men. But knowing the teeth or the window, all the things I've done to not glorify God, I felt like finally in that moment, I glorified God. Mm-hmm. I maintained my composure under what I felt I had the right to respond and get mad and throw a fit. But it wouldn't have honored God. It wouldn't. So that's the answer to your question. How do you glorify God? That's my example. I finally have been through this test enough times that I finally think I glorified God.
It took 51 years.
Yes, it took 51 years, but I did glorify God in that moment. That's
impressive.
Can build on that. Yeah.
That's impressive. I don't know how I would have done. I don't know if I'd have got it.
Well, I know I've missed it many times.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'd get it right tomorrow, but in that moment, I mean, I could have made my reaction I could have justified my throwing a fit back, but it would have ruined the event. It wouldn't have honored God. And he'd have been like, that dude's a pastor. Not only does he drive on the sidewalk, then he talks to me that way. Like it would have looked way worse on me anyway.
Oh yeah. True.
Yeah. Gabe, what does glorifying God look like to you?
I got a little version of it, which I heard somewhere along the way, and it was simply this: glorifying God looks like when you're thinking about sinning and you don't, and you choose not to. That was to me the simplest thing. You're thinking about going off on somebody, and you go, "No, I will not do it," or you're thinking about stealing something, and you don't do it. And you say, no, I'm not going to do it. And you turn away from evil. And I think that's glorifying God. And it's a simple version because I need things simple to where you can actually achieve it. But I do think that a big key to it is to pause. If you're going to do anything wrong, anything wrong at all, whatever it is, pause for 3 seconds and think about it for just 3 seconds. Pause. But I think glorifying God is choosing righteousness over evil. Mm-hmm. Because we do have the choice.
I think that's right.
Choice.
And that goes right along with John 15, starting in verse 8 says, by this my Father is glorified, and this is Jesus, that you bear much fruit and so prove to be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things I have spoken to you, that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be full.
I'm going to jump back in if I can.
Yeah, jump in.
So I got to thinking about what is, am I a good disciple?
Or now or?
No, over the last week or two.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't feel like a disciple at all. I really feel like a self-serving person. Even though I try to serve everybody and I try to be a good example of what a Christian believes and stands for, but I do it on the big stuff. not necessarily the little stuff. And I'm like, well, what kind of disciple is that? A disciple is someone who says, I'm going to do it like this guy does it. Like my pastor or shepherd, like this person does it. I am a disciple of Aristotle, or Muhammad or Jesus. I'm a disciple of Jesus. And I've looked at it and I'm like, on the big stuff, I get it right. Well, I was talking to my little guy, Landon. He's 11 years old. And he and I were sitting there in my office the other day. We saw this little video on my phone that we were watching together. And it just prompted me to ask him. I said, I told him, I said, son, doing the right thing's a big deal, and, saying you're one thing and then being that thing is really big. And I said, do you think that you are a good disciple? And I've never been more proud. He started to answer and he paused and he started to cry. And I couldn't believe it. His honesty to himself and his transparency. And he just goes, no.
Man.
And he just started crying. He's 11.
11?
He's 11 or 10 or 11.
Okay.
And he started to cry, and I just started rubbing his back. I said, son, the Bible does say all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And I'm no different. I don't feel like I'm a great disciple. I love Jesus, though. Do you? He goes, I love Jesus. I was like, yeah. But it was that idea of the discipleship. Are you a disciple? Like, I would think that disciples, we would want to glorify God and raise him up and before men. And it was just a neat moment.
Yeah.
You were reading in that verse and it said disciples. And it is all about that. I follow this guy. Do what he says on the big and the small. Like if I see somebody getting beat up, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to go in there and throw my life on the line to stop someone from getting hurt. Or if someone's saying, no, Jesus is not real, I'm going to go right in there and say, yeah, no, he is. And, if y'all are going to kill this guy for it, I'm in line for that also. I believe he is the Son of God.
Well, I think you're right. I think disciple is a key word there. I think that's a key word. It says, if you bear not fruit, if you bear much fruit, and thus prove to be my disciples. And you think of the fruit of the Spirit as what? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. A fruit-bearing tree, doesn't have to try, doesn't have to think about it. It just naturally bears so much fruit that it's fallen off the tree all over the place. Mm-hmm. And it's not about legalism. It's not about any of that. But if you become a disciple of jujitsu, you become a disciple of some jujitsu master, you're going to bear that fruit in tournaments and being put under pressure and things of that nature. And you're going to start to win tournaments, and it's going to be hard for a while, but you become a disciple. You study under that master and you become like that master. And over time, you're going to bear fruit like that master. And it's the same thing with glorifying God, with like you said, Gabe, being a disciple and what that looks like. It's just going to natural. 2 Timothy talks about counting others more important than yourself. I don't know how great I've been at doing that. And I like to think that I did. And there are times that I did. I was talking with Jared about it a little bit earlier today that, naturally, if I love somebody, then I try to have their back and this and that. But if I don't, or if I don't really like somebody, well, do I count that person? It says count everybody as more important than yourselves. Yeah. Do nothing out of selfish ambition. Everybody. Even people you can't stand.
Everybody.
That means you have to walk in a certain level of, you have to walk in the attributes of love, and over time, to bear much fruit, when a fruit tree's first coming up, it's not pumping out the fruit. But the more mature it becomes, it really starts pumping it out, pumping out the good fruit. So you got to have some grace in yourself. I'm not, this is a realization for me, like, man, I want to glorify God in all that I do, in everything that you do. Glorify God, right?
Well, when you gave the example of the fruit tree, it has to be planted, and for it to bear fruit, it has to be connected to an irrigation source, right? It has to be watered.
Mm-hmm.
Well, same with us. If we're going to bear the fruit, we have to be connected to the right source.
Yeah.
You can't watch junk on TV, listen to crappy music, and then bear righteous fruit.
Yeah.
That's all
You'll
you
bear
do.
fruit, and it won't be good.
You have to have a
yeah.
relationship with Jesus. And I did look up, thanks to Jenny, several podcasts ago, introducing us to the 1828 Webster Dictionary. If you look up the word glorify, it's to praise, to magnify, and to honor and worship. To praise, to honor, to extol, to procure honor, to praise to. Well, in 1 Chronicles, chapter 16, verse 7 through 36, David is they've got the ark, and he's going to pitch the tent over the ark, and they give this model on what it looks like to glorify, to honor, to worship God. I won't read that long text, but in that, Asaph, I guess, was the leader of that time, of that area. And he just says, give praise to the Lord. That's verse 8. Proclaim the greatness of God's name. That's in verse 8. Tell the whole world what God has done. Sing to the Lord. Glory or exult in his name. Rejoice in him. Seek out the Lord and trust in his power. Remember all the Lord's mighty deeds. Ascribe glory and strength to him because it is due. So it gives you just this roadmap on how to glorify God. We have to praise his name. That's how we're connected to the source. If you're going to be connected to him, you got to worship him, you got to praise him, you got to exalt him, and then in turn, you begin to bear this fruit that glorifies God as well.
So your actions should praise your name. When it says, in everything you do, glorify God.
Mm-hmm.
Your actions should give praise to God.
That's right.
The way you handle yourself, the way you perform your work should glorify God. If you're lazy.
Could you imagine if you laid in bed at night and just did a recap like, hey, what went well today? But you do it through the lens of, how did I glorify God today?
Yeah.
First of all, how did I not? Did I talk to my wife in a way that praised and glorified God's name? Mm-hmm. Did I address and talk to my kids in a way that God will be proud because it exalted his name? Mm-hmm. Or was I degrading? Did I put down my family? Did I treat my coworker like crap? Did I scold them with a harsh word? Not that we can't be firm, but you can be firm and it still glorify God. So that you made me think of that when you were saying that.
Did I put a verbal beating on the landscape guy that was getting out of line?
Yeah. Well, there's a language today in business. Yeah. Hey, what went right? What went wrong? What's missing? What's confusing? You kind of do that as a debrief. Okay, so how did I glorify God today? What if we journaled that? Okay, how did I not glorify God today?
Mm-hmm. That's kind of a cool idea.
What's missing in my what's missing that hindered me from glorifying God? Because that list should be 99.99. No, it should be 100%. Everything glorified God today.
Yeah.
Even the difficult conversation.
Jared was trying to leave like a 0.11.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, that's not acceptable.
You're like, no, I'm not even.
All of it.
That was the human, like, leave yourself a little room.
Yeah, I was trying to give it just the grace, like right.
And I was appreciative of that. Give me something, a little room for mistake.
I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about yesterday. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to even remember yesterday. If I'd have done it last night before I went to bed and just did a reflection on that, that'd be interesting. What if we debriefed every day with ourselves? Hey, how did I glorify God? How did I not?
I do like that.
So check this out. We'll give you another neighbor story.
Well, these are always good.
I do like the Gabe neighbor story.
There we go. This one's going to match up with Jared's paver story. Only I didn't win. So I'm riding
Here's
around.
one we haven't heard about.
Yep. Nope. This guy, he lives about a block down the road. And I'm driving around with my 3 genetic children. And we are just riding around the neighborhood before they go to their moms. and we stopped by this one house that's abandoned. And we pull into I like to pull into the driveway like it's my house because it feels fun. You know, it's like you just pretend in Fantasyland, this is my house.
Is it for sale or is it?
Yeah, no, it's for rent. It's just been empty for a couple months. And stuff.
Gotcha.
So we pull into the driveway and we get out and walk up to the front door like it's ours, and that's where the fun ends. So so we realized, oh wow, close up, this thing's got a few problems that I didn't notice before. It all looked perfect from the street, but close up, I'm like, some rotten wood over there, just interesting, pointless information. But we get back in after playing around and get back in the golf cart and we drive around, and the kids are like, hey Dad, let's go to that other house that's empty, Well, I was like, oh heck yeah, let's do it. We're on a roll here, breaking the law. So
glorifying God.
I'm like, I can't help it. When it comes to an abandoned building, I can't help it. I want to go inside. So we drive over to that other house and we get there. It's a cool house. It's woodsy. It's up on a hill. You got great views and stuff. And it's just shaped really cool. It's got a second floor balcony that looks over all this beautiful stuff. And well, we pull up the driveway, all the way the winding driveway. We get up there and the kids get out, and Logan goes and checks the front door because I taught him well. And it's just the door's open. No. I know. And once upon a time when
breaking the law,
we went through that house a couple of years ago and it was just torn to shreds. There was nothing about it. But now these people have been renovating it and it's kind of nicer. And next thing you know, we see Logan in the window inside the house, and we're like, oh, I guess we can just go on in. The front door must be open.
Yeah, Logan approves. We can go in. He's the adult. He's the example setter.
So we go on in. We walk around. We're like, oh, it's so nice in here. It's so cool. It's so neat. It's a beautiful house. And we get out, and we're walking toward the golf cart, and I see the neighbor marching over.
Oh boy!
And he's older than me, and he's got a really intense look. I wave, to
hey,
say,
buddy.
hey, my friend. And do
you know him or no?
Heck no.
He does know.
Yeah. His name's Kyle. So he comes over there, and I said, hey, how's it going, buddy? And he's like, good. What are you doing up here? And I was like, oh, he's a tough guy. So I said,
first sign of you were in the wrong. Oh, yeah. Tough guy here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My attitude.
How dare you be offended?
Oh, exactly. Yeah. I'm telling you.
If I want to walk in your house, in fact, if I want to walk in your personal house, I'll do that too. Yeah.
I love we're doing.
What are you going to do about it?
We're making great commentary here.
It's solid. I told you I was a loss on this one. I said I lost.
Okay. Carry on. This is awesome.
It was pride.
Oh, yeah. It'll get you. It'll get you.
I was like, nobody. I'm like, I'm not really doing anything wrong, so I don't want to hear about it. That was, I knew, and I'm like, plus I can talk my way out of this, whatever, man. So he's like,
and it's in front of your kids, like that is.
Oh, my kids are there. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You don't want to seem weak at all in front of the kids.
All this stupid nonsense.
Yeah. So you teach them to act in pride instead.
No. Slow down. Slow down. So he and I talked for a second. He's like, that the neighbors, the people that own that, asked me to keep an eye out for it, and the door's open only so that the workers can go in there and do the work. And I was like, oh yeah, for sure. And he kind of rides me for a minute. Finally I was like, I've had enough of this. I said, well, you going to call the cops? Because I was like, let's cut to the chase, man. I'm tired of getting
Part of me's proud of Gabe. But
no, it's not. No.
Proud or
Jared?
Attaboy, but it's not right. But
I know. And I was like, I'm done with this, man. I'm getting beat up, and I deserve it. I know I do, but I don't want any more of it. So I was like, you're going to call the cops? And he goes, no, but you say you know these people? I said, well, kind of. I bought some stuff from them when they were selling the house out, He goes, well, I'm going to call them real quick, and you can talk to them. I was like, oh, man.
God,
That's like taking the kid back. You need to tell them you stole that grape.
That's
that's
right.
exactly right. I'm taking you to the store manager. That's right.
He calls her up. She answers the phone. He talks. He says, "There's people in the house. They say they know you." I was like, "I don't really know her."
Oh, yeah.
We stood around and talked for 20 minutes. At that back then, she gets on the phone. She goes, "You say you know me?" I was like, "I said no. First of all, I'm sorry.
I lied.
Sorry. I went in your house. My kids and I. We shouldn't have done that. But yes, we kind of, we talked about, all sorts of the neighborhood stuff, and that your husband owns some UPS routes and stuff like that." And she goes, "Are you the one that bought all the Christmas lights from us?" I was like, "Yeah, that's me." I'm your best friend.
You thought you had an out.
She goes, "Well, the thing is that when you walk in there right now, it's not the way it was before. The footprints are all over the place, and you're tracking that all over all the work that." And I was like, "I know." Oh, she laid it on. I said, "I'm real sorry." And I said, I'm going to go home after my kids go with their mom. I'm going to go home and I'm going to get my mop and broom and stuff. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to make it right. And she goes, "Okay, thank you." I was like, "No problem."
But can you tell Kyle that I'm going to come back and I'm okay to clean?
Yeah.
No.
Tell him don't shoot me.
No.
Yeah, because that's an issue in that neighborhood.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh, you really need to calm down, Jared. You guys, I'm never telling another personal story.
No, I think we couldn't have explained glorifying God and not glorifying God any better than what we've done on this episode. Thank you to Jared and Gabe. And thankfully, I'm the one that got it right.
You
I'm just
won
along
today.
for the ride. Yeah.
I'll wrap this up. We got off the phone, and I just told him, "Hey, by the way, I'm Gabe." And his son was with him. His 22-year-old came up with him, and I was like, "Oh, you want some too?" I'm like, "What? Yeah. What is this?
You want some too, young man?
A show of force or what?" You know? And I'm just like, "Oh, you did this to yourself, man. You brought this on."
He didn't call you buddy, did he?
He did not. He did not. Thank goodness. That would have been annoying. So I just introduced myself. I said, I'll come back. I'll fix it. And he goes, all right. Well, we'll talk to you later. And he just rolled on. I get back up to the golf cart, and my daughter is in the front seat. And she just looks at me and she goes, "I don't want to ever be a part of something like this again." I said, I'm sorry. Dad's sorry. We won't do that.
And we are telling
Yeah.
Carrie, your wife, their mom, when they get home.
Oh, dude, I went ahead and got that out of the way.
Good job.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I mean, she's not surprised by it.
She's not surprised.
No. That was, this podcast took a little bit of a different turn, probably than what Hank had scripted for us. But it's kind of cool that we had two long storied examples.
Yeah, that's cool.
On how to glorify and not. Because I think everybody can relate to that story.
I was trying to glorify myself.
Yeah.
I didn't want nobody crossing me.
Yeah.
And I deserved it. I messed it up. Humility will get you out of it every time.
And those are great stories. Awesome.
Yeah, because you could have.
Everybody loves good stories.
And he could have told the guy, "Hey, man, honestly, I knew this house was trash. I knew they were working on it. I was just checking it out. And I probably shouldn't have been in there." And it probably would have been
much better.
End of conversation.
This guy was ex-military. I don't know if that would have worked.
Maybe not.
I ended up back at his house 2 hours later.
He should have been like,
because the door was locked on the house. So I came to him and I said, "Hey, I did try to come to go clean like I said I would." And he and I stood there and talked for an hour.
Now they're buds.
You and Kyle are cool now.
We're cool now.
Yeah,
we're cool now. And his son and his wife. I met them all.
There you go. He's a neighborly fella.
Well, since me and Gabe took all the hair time, do you got any final thoughts, Hank?
So I would say that, bearing fruit, glorifying God takes work, takes practice, takes effort, but it's good. You can't look at it. I mentioned at the beginning that I always looked at it as laborsome, burdensome, wearing, if I make a mistake and I'm going to get the thunder and all that kind of stuff, if I do everything you do to the glory of God and, the closer you get to God, the more you look at it as an opportunity to count others more important to you than yourselves, to handle your business in a certain kind of way, and going along with the chill talk, to with the time that I have left, how can I spend it the best?
Glorify
in
God.
This disagreement with my spouse, how can I glorify God? How can I count my spouse more important than myself? In this disagreement with my neighbor, in the way I do my work, in the way I'm going to play this game, in the way I'm going to spend my leisurely time. Can I glorify God? Is this glorifying to God what I'm doing right now? Or is the entertainment that I choose to partake in, does it glorify God or does it not? But just using that as a template to hey man, and not, again, there's so many great ways to have fun. So much, this right here is fun. I look forward to this every week. It glorifies God. I don't have to worry about that. It does.
Could you imagine how simple some counseling sessions? We all have people we go to, and you're like, hey, man, can you help me kind of walk this out? I'm a little frustrated with this person. And if you just responded with, do you know what it means to glorify God? And you just explain it and be like, what I would encourage you is to find a resolve that glorifies God, honors him, and honors your spouse.
Say that again.
Someone comes to you, I'm frustrated with my spouse, we can't work through this, and you just simply say, do you know what it means to glorify God? That's, we're created to glorify him, bring honor to his name. Yeah. Maybe you have to explain what it means to glorify God. And then you just say, so what I would encourage you is to pray about and find a way to get through this with your spouse in a manner that glorifies God and honors them. Mm-hmm. That's really a simple way you could apply that to any situation when somebody calls you complaining about their wife or their friend. This dude, he did this. Okay, well, what are you going to do to resolve this in a way that glorifies God and doesn't glorify you?
That's really good.
And here's I
love that.
Here's a quick other thought that kind of that we didn't get to, but in doing so, in setting this principle as a foundation in our lives, it's going to affect us outwardly. It's going to affect our health. When you walk in this, your health is going to be better. You're going to walk in less anxiety. You're going to walk in a whole lot more peace. More people are going to be around you. You're going to be more successful at your job, your business. You're going to get promoted. People like to promote people that walk in peace. And you walk in peace when you walk in ways that glorify God. It just, those are the type of people that others like to be around. Your health is going to be, blood pressure is going to be down. It's just, there are benefits to you, not other than, don't think that you don't reap some great reward from it. You sure do. Your body naturally responds to walking in a way that glorifies God.
That's powerful because it's interesting. I was so proud that I glorified God in that moment with that guy.
Yeah.
And he did come back and apologize. But you know what I didn't need when him and I finished our interaction round one, you know what I didn't need from him? An apology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't, it wasn't important that he come back and apologize. Yeah. If he'd have never came back and apologized, I was okay with that because I honestly glorified God, but how many times have we been in a situation like we're not going to be good till that dude apologizes to me.
Right.
That's self-glorification. That's not glorifying God.
Yeah.
I did not need him to apologize to me. It wasn't part of the deal.
Dude, what seems more manly than a dude that can just take those types of situations and be cool? And be clearly cool, like so level-headed, so controlled.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
And then still smile at the person when they circle back around. To me, that's as cool as it gets.
Yeah.
As cool as the other side of the pillow.
Be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be cool.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's the piece that surpasses understanding.
That's
it doesn't make sense. But there's not a person that's listening to this that can't walk in that kind of righteousness.
Yeah. It's not hard. It does require some discipline. It is hard.
I do like that. It requires discipline.
Yeah.
It requires discipline. But over
time, it becomes part of who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when that guy apologized, I was like, hey, man, thanks. But I didn't need that.
Didn't need it.
Didn't need it.
It was okay.
Wasn't necessary.
It was already okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that story.
Gabe, any final thoughts?
Be like Jared. What would Jared do?
No. Just glorify God.
I do think the word discipline in there, you don't get to just be that. This is a path, and you need to work on it. I think a person needs to work on it real hard. And I don't, not like you, brother, you were saying like dun, dun, dun or something, all that. And I'm like, ooh-wee, no,
That's the wrong way to
definitely
look
not
at it.
that,
Yep.
because we'll be crushed under that pressure. But the recognition that, yes, you have to work on this. You have to put in the time. You put in the time. You can go 1 trillion directions in this life. And you got to point to it if you want to get to it. And if you want to be able to not, you're going to call the cops. Come on, man. Or you want to be like, I'm sorry, like, which one do you want to be? You really got to work on that. I'm excited.
You gotta call.
Shut up.
My final.
Shut up, man.
You think about later, your little girl, like,
yeah.
please don't ever make me be part of it.
No, she didn't say please don't. She said I don't want to be a part of that. Something like this again.
Yeah.
She meant it. I was like,
This ain't it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm out. Sorry.
My final thought would be you're listening to this and you read your Bible and you pray every day, but you still struggle. We talked about glorifying God. You're reading and you're praying, but are you praising and worshiping?
Yeah.
Are you singing? I don't mean riding down it's not riding to work with Air One on and playing in the background while you scroll your phone. How are you worshiping and singing and exalting the Father? That'd be my final thought.
Yeah.
Good. I think that'll do it, boys.
Team forward.
Go
Thanks for joining our conversation today. Hank.
Yeah. Hey. Sometimes it's nice just to be the fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Just kick back and enjoy the conversation. Well, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel.
Amen. Use the mute button.
That's right.